Putrajaya has agreed to restructure 4 Klang Valley highway concessionaires through private entity Amanat Lebuhraya Rakyat or ALR. According to Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, ALR has the mandate to assist Putrajaya in the restructuring of Kesas, Smart, Sprint and Lingkaran Transkota or LITRAK, which runs the Damansara Puchong Expressway or LDP, without the government having to pay any compensation. He said the restructuring will ensure that toll rates will not be increased and that net savings from the toll subsidies for these 4 highways is estimated at a minimum of 4.3 billion ringgit. In a burst filing, Gamuda, which has interests in the 4 concessionaires, said that ALR made the offers based on the enterprise values of LITRAK 2.12 billion ringgit, Kesas 1.24 billion ringgit, Sprint 1.81 billion ringgit and Smart 313 million ringgit. This works out to a total enterprise value of 5.48 billion ringgit. It said the anticipated equity value for the companies is 4.43 billion ringgit, while Gamuda's share is 2.33 billion ringgit. Each offer was made on a standalone basis and shall remain open for acceptance until 5 p.m. on April 30th, 2022. According to ALR's website, it was set up in late 2021. It said it will be acquiring 100% of the concession companies by raising funds through Sustainability Sukuk or Sustainable Responsible Investment Sukuk. The company is chaired by Tan Sri Azla Muhammad Zainul, who sits on its board alongside Datuk Idros Muhammad, Datuk Engineer Som Heng Chun, Datuk Dr. Nirmala Menon and Datuk Muhammad Sharil Tarmizi. It's that its board of directors are also its shareholders. As it is a non-profit entity, no dividends will be paid out and all and any profits generated through the operation of these 4 highway concessionaires must be channeled purely for the servicing and early redemption of ALR's financial debts. Putrajaya may extend the concession period for 3 out of 4 Klang Valley highways involved in the proposed restructuring through ALR in exchange for no increase in toll charges. At a press conference following the Prime Minister's announcement, Senior Works Minister Datuk Sri Fadilah Yusof said the concession period extension is not the exclusive right of the concession companies and that the renewed concession period will depend on traffic flow of each highway involved. Fadilah said the extension is not automatic. For Kesas, Sprint and LDP, the concession will be extended for 5 to 10 years, while the concession for the Smart Tunnel may be shortened depending on the traffic data that will be reviewed from time to time. The minister added that the expressways will be returned to the government after all financial obligations to the lenders and investors of the concessionaires are met. The Sprint Expressway has 3 toll booths, with a concession ending between 2031 and 2034. The Kesas concession ends in 2028, while the concession for the LDP will end on August 15, 2030. The Smart Tunnel has the longest remaining concession period until 2042. The Health Ministry is reportedly considering inoculating immunocompromised individuals with a 4th COVID-19 vaccine dose. Citing Health Minister Khairi Jamaluddin, news portal Code Blue reported that the minister, in a written Dewan Negara reply last Thursday, told Senator Datuk Sri S. Velpari that Putrajaya is still considering giving a 4th vaccine dose to people with weakened immune systems. To date, there is no international standard for determining the number of doses to be given because it depends on clinical study data, real-world data and local studies. The Health Ministry also studies decisions made by relevant agencies in foreign countries, such as the US Food and Drug Administration and the WHO. Last month, Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla told US broadcaster CBS that a 4th dose of the COVID-19 vaccine will be necessary to continue to help keep hospitalizations manageable and the severity of the sickness milder. He said that the protection from the 3rd dose is good enough against hospitalizations and deaths, but doesn't last very long. National car maker Proton Holdings saw sales in March rise 41.2% month-on-month to 13,028 units for a market share of 19%. Cumulative sales from January to March closed at 26,706 units with a market share of 17.5%. Good enough to be ranked second in the overall table, despite a contraction of 18.6% in sales and 5.7% in market share compared to the first quarter of 2021. Proton said while total sales for March were down by 13% year-on-year, the company still posted some noteworthy results. Sales of the Proton Saga hit 6,422 units last month, its best effort since November 2013, making it the sales leader for A-segment sedans as well as the best-selling A-segment model overall. Helping to power the Saga's numbers was a growth in export sales. With a total of 794 units exported in March, the company achieved its highest export sales figure in 108 months. Overall first quarter export volume totaled 1,117 units, an improvement of 175% from the same period last year. As for the other models, the Proton X70, X50 and Exora retained leadership in their respective segments, while the Persona and Iris didn't perform as well, as stiff competition and parts shortages continued to affect sales. Proton ADA Chief Executive Officer Roslan Abdullah said the first 3 months of 2022 had been tough for Proton, no thanks to production issues, but the car maker is confident it can rebound strongly over the next quarter. Jeweller TOME Consolidated has proposed a first and final dividend of 3 cents per share for FY21. In a board's filing, it said the entitlement date and date of payment have yet to be finalised. For FY21, TOME's net profit rose 5% to 32.77 million ringgit, while revenue rose 33% to 736.07 million ringgit. The group attributed the improved results to contributions from both its retail and manufacturing and wholesale segments. The retail segment posted a 23% increase in revenue to 483.75 million ringgit in FY21, despite the group's outlets being unable to open for business during the lockdown from June to August 2021. Meanwhile, revenue from the manufacturing and wholesale segment rose 26% to 265.38 million ringgit, mainly due to an increase in sales volume. TOME's share price closed 1.96% higher at 1 ringgit 4 cents, giving the group a market capitalisation of 144.14 million ringgit.